Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin,
I'm Sir Nick.
and we are here to gab your ears off about whatever we like. And right now, that is Alien Earth, Episode 8.
The real monsters. Hey, Benjamin, do you know who the real monsters are?
I believe there was a Twilight Zone episode about this.
Yeah, the real monsters. Doesn't take a genius to figure that one out.
Oh, man. Uh,
Um,
oh, yeah. So,
yep.
slight bit of a little bit of housekeeping. But
Oh,
previous,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, or a retraction or whatever you want to call it. Previous episode, I was thinking. I remember we had a conversation about nerdrotic, and I had said something about I disagree with about like 60-70% of what he said, and then later on after the episode I was thinking like, oh wait a minute, for some reason I was confusing nerdrotic with critical drinker. Now I'm sure there's stuff that yeah, nerdrotic, there is stuff I disagree with him. we I'm sure if we had a conversation we'd probably agree on far more, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think I
I
disagree
like
with
both of those
60%.
guys. I like both of those guys. I don't always agree. I feel like when you're in the business of making content, if it bleeds, it leads. So if it's
True.
negative, I don't think they purposefully do it. I just think that you can get conditioned in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love those guys. I'm not gonna. I don't want to criticize them. They're
Yeah.
they're awesome.
That's fair. Yeah, I just wanted to do a little housekeeping on that. That's my overthinking brain. Let's
What?
get into this.
I have no idea what that's like. Overthinking? Me? Never. We open up with a little montage scene of the xenomorph, the fully grown xenomorph, going from location to location to location, and each and every time, this is going to sound really, what's the word? Whatever that word is. But I watched it by myself this time.
Mhm.
Ashley didn't watch it with me. She was like, "Please, I don't want to watch it." I'm like, fair enough. Um, I actually paused and rewound all the things, all the scenes with the alien because
Hmm.
they put it in broad daylight. I want to see if I see anything, and you know I have to kind of take back what I said about it looking mostly good in the daytime. I don't think it looks that good in the daytime. I don't think it looks that good in the daytime at all. I was not able to find a criticism that somebody had pointed out where you could actually see the silhouette, where the actor's face for the Xeno was like in the chest, like some light hit it, and you can kind of see the silhouette.
Really?
I couldn't find it, so I
Okay.
can't confirm that. But yeah, but it's just like every time the Xeno crouches, it it just because it has that weird sort of foot. I can't
Hmm.
remember what like the ankle knee reverse thing is,
Yeah.
but the Xeno has that,
Yes.
and it's so obvious when they do the wide shot with the dude that they shorten that in order to accommodate the actor. Anyway, nitpick. That's the word I was looking for.
There we go.
But yeah. Anyway, it just starts off just completely out in the open. So anyway, I'm done. I'm done harping about that. And then for whatever reason, it goes to find low sperm count's corpse on the beach, and it's just sitting there looking at him. I'm like, why are you here? None of this makes sense. The Xeno doesn't like the yeah. Anyway, whatever. So that
But
scene. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's funny you brought that up because there are so many scenes in this episode that are just randomly there, and there's like
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason for it. It's not like an establishing shot or a little bit
Hmm.
of world building or something. It's They're completely pointless.
Yeah.
Like you and you can actually have pointless scenes in something in a show, movie, whatever, but they work with everything and you don't even notice it's pointless. Here, these scenes, the pointless scenes here, attention is actually drawn to them. and they just go absolutely nowhere.
Well, it's a season finale that feels like a filler episode.
Mm-hmm.
It feels
Yes.
like a filler episode that wants to be a season finale,
Yeah.
especially as you get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, just like right off of what you were saying there, as far as just pointless scenes or scenes that don't make sense. The very next scene after the alien going through the jungle montage, we got Dom Sylvia all by herself at the gravesite for where they buried the six children.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, like, was she not aware that there was an emergency going on? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure she was. She would have to be. And she just goes out by herself. Anyway, a higher power was definitely looking out for her because when she turns around and the xenomorph was there, it took a long time to snarl at her. So she's really, really lucky that her plot armor held. And yeah, I got nothing to add to that. I have thoughts about when they get interrupted, but I want to jump ahead if you got some.
No, no, I think with when it comes to the corpses here, that like I have more thoughts that will coincide with some stuff at the end.
Oh yeah,
So I'm just gonna save it because I don't really have anything substantial to add until then about the graves and this scene.
yeah. Okay, so I'll be quick with this scene then. So she turns around, the alien snarling at her, and then it gets shot in the head by the passing security team, and then it runs away. But every single time in the show where security team or the rescue group or soldiers come across the Xeno just turns towards them and annihilates them. And here it just runs off into the woods. And it was, I guess they can climb walls. Yeah, but yeah, it just runs off. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Plot armor. Yay. Good. I understand that the shows have to have plot armor to a certain degree, but this freaking episode, the amount of plot armor going on drives me crazy. Alien is a survival horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to know who's got plot armor. One of the things I noticed last night when I was watching the original Alien is I remember, because I've seen the movie 55, 60 times,
Yeah.
right? And I still love it. But I was thinking back to the first time I watched that movie. I had no idea who Sigourney Weaver was. I was 14 years old. I had no idea. I didn't know that she was the main character.
Mm.
Nobody in that film had plot armor.
No.
None whatsoever. And it just annoyed me so much. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about plot armor. I'll move on. Oh, and then we transition to the next scene. Remember how we talked about how this show is full of exposition?
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of explaining because they know that people are staring at their phones. You're nodding
Mm-hmm.
your head. Did you write the same note as I did?
Not quite, not quite. I just remember because it's like because the thing I've got here is about Baldy doing or no Evil Alfred doing his voiceover and everything,
Yep.
explaining everything.
Explaining everything but in such an unnatural way.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's talking to Boy Cavalier, we find out. But the way that he's talking about what's going on is not how normal people do it.
No, like it sounded like, and here's the first person narration for the audience. He's reading a book to us, or like reading a how do you put it? It sounded like here's the narrator, just
Yeah, well, when
the way he delivered it.
when TV shows have episode recaps, that's what his monologue sounded like, which would have been fine for an episode recap.
Mm-hmm.
But they've already established that their episode recaps are just those snap cut, like really quick shots
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
That crap annoys me.
Oh, the jump cut, the quick
Hmm.
cuts and all that,
No,
or the
actually,
this.
no, no. I like the way that they do the recaps at the beginning. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's actually fine. The exposition is what annoys me.
Mm.
It'd be like me saying, Benjamin, during my day today, I drove my kids to school. And after I drove my kids to school, I realized I was too lazy to go home and make breakfast. So I went to McDonald's like a fatty McFatterson and I ate McDonald's. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you the story in the least interesting way possible. That's this show. Anyway, I'll move on.
So just something, just off the thing that came in my head when you were mentioning it, like as an exposition thing, made me think like, oh, I've never seen this. This would be neat way of doing an exposition plus a recap is where you have the person, reading off and doing the recap and whatnot, and then right at the end of the recap, and you have the clips of the recap and its exposition, but instead of it switching to another part of the sorry, how do I put this?
Yeah, you're
Oh yeah,
good.
sorry. That it come, and then it goes from the recap clips. The person is still talking, then goes to the person who is giving the recap talking to Boy Cavalier or something like. So it's almost like you're getting a recap, but he's also giving a recap, like a briefing to another person, and it goes right, and it just smooth transition recap right into the episode. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. I'm like, that would be unique.
That would have worked really well, and it wouldn't. I mean, I finally learned what Evil Alfred's name is. It's Adam, Atom.
Uh,
I didn't know that. I like Evil Alfred better, but like he's the kind of character, especially the British voice, where if he were to give that exposition dump, but in the form of a like an intel briefing or
mm-hmm.
just an update, that would have been fine. But it wasn't that.
No,
Like it sounded like somebody reading a script, which is too bad because he's a good actor.
yeah.
I like him. I like him a lot. So, and then Boy Cavalier is watching old footage of Wendy.
Oh, before you go into that,
Oh, yep,
I
yep,
had
yep,
a
yep.
thing about the exposition.
Oh, yeah.
So he does his exposition, says Weyland-Yutani has cut off the island's communications. The hybrids are in holding cell one. It was not built to hold synths. They probably can break out if they choose to. And I put in my notes on this is like, this is a company that specializes in synthetics. Why would it not have holding cells equipped for them, especially when you're dealing with
Part of the containment unit,
yeah, like there's
a catch and release device.
something like the stupidity of this company is just baffling.
That's just rude, Benjamin. You shouldn't call people stupid. They're
Idiocy, idiocy of this company.
no,
Um,
I'm kidding. They're freaking stupid.
what's the plural of imbecile? Imbecilin. You know who I'm talking?
Imbecile.
Have you? Oh, what? Brian Regan. Have you heard of Brian Regan?
I
Comedian.
do. Yep.
What's the plural of box? Boxing. Imbecile. Brian. You're an imbecile. Imbecilin. That's this company.
Yeah. Imbeciles. Stupid. Retarded. They are. They're dumb. And before anyone gets offended, I'm not saying that they're missing a couple of chromosomes. I'm saying they're freaking stupid, okay? Calm down.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
We
they
took
are.
back that word.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, that was
well,
my only thought for that. Yeah, you can go on to Wendy doing her
uh,
thing.
the boy Cavalier's watching old footage of her,
Right.
and he's looking really weird at her too. I can't actually tell if he's supposed to be pervy or if the actor just unintentionally made it seem like he's being pervy. But I don't. He just has that look. Anytime I see someone who walks around in pajamas all day, I'm going to assume that if they're staring at videos of girls, they're being pervy. Sorry, that's just maybe that's judgmental. Um, the sheep, though, with the eyeball, is in a little containment unit in his office, and he
Mm-hmm.
talks to it.
Yes.
Something about how, I can only imagine the intelligence behind that mind of yours, and if only you could talk, what conversations we would have. That would have been very interesting
Hmm.
if they had developed it in a way where his search for, as he put it, someone intelligent enough to talk with him, I think was what it was. If that had actually led to something interesting,
Yeah.
payoff, I think is
Hmm.
what they're called. It could have been a very interesting. I don't know if this is a good example, but like a very low tier Captain Ahab after the white whale. You know, he's looking for that one
Oh, I see
person,
what you mean.
you know, that one thing that can tickle or that can scratch that itch. But they didn't do that. They didn't do nothing with it.
Man, there's it's
It
another
could have been good.
that's another example. Like there were so many good ideas in this show. Like,
Yeah, just,
yeah.
just throw it, throw it into the pile.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really it for that shot because then it goes right back to the a little bit of a montage thing. The Lost Boys in their cage, Morrow and Joe in the cage, lots of stupid exposition. And then it goes to Wendy and the other Lost Boys, and
Hmm.
then she and Curly are having this inane argument about who who's my favorite, who's my favorite. I was just like, oh, it's this scene, and I was just skipping through it when I was rewatching. I'm like, okay. Um,
Yeah. So it's just looking over my notes on it.
but then Wendy says, I guess they start talking about, I'm trying to remember exactly. They start talking about the administration, Boy Cavalier, and then she says they should be afraid of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Before that, oh yeah, here it is. I think this was supposed to be the writer being like, "Oh, I am so good. This is gonna be the thing that gets
Oh,
audience attention." Curly, of course, doing her whole thing of like, I shouldn't be here. I'm the favorite. And Wendy says in the book that she's Peter Pan's favorite until she grows up. And I was like, is that like just the way it's like, is that supposed to be profound or something? Um, and
it
oh yeah,
definitely felt like one
oh
of the,
right. And then the next line she
yeah.
says is like saying that but Prodigy won't let them grow up. That
Well,
Prodigy is afraid of them. Says that they are
maybe they should
ghosts
be afraid
now.
of us.
Go. Oh yes, they are ghosts now. Ghosts haunt.
Was that this conversation?
According
I
to my
think you're
notes,
right. No, I
unless I
think you're right.
blended.
I think you're right.
Whoa. And then the
And you
episode
have a
got
bunch
really
of,
good. Then the episode got really good. People, the Ghostbusters show up, which originally side quick side thing. Originally, when Ghostbusters was happening, they were inspired. They were looking at like, hey, Star Wars made a ton of money. Let's do something with some sci-fi thing. And they were originally the Ghostbusters when it was first being constructed was going to be a sci-fi movie.
interesting. I did
Anyway,
not know that. I still have not seen a single Ghostbusters film. Are we still friends?
moving on. No, we're still friends.
I know. um, blah 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 blah
Anyway,
blah.
moving on.
Oh, it goes back to Boy Cavalier, who's watching more recordings of Wendy, and then you have that really like awkward as she's like doing the clicky thing to the Xeno, like
Hmm.
or whatever.
I move my mouth.
And yeah, but here's the thing: he's watching. He's actually watching a recording. I hate it when shows do this. He's watching the recording. The recording is not from a security camera that is
Mm.
actually there in the world because she's staring into the Xeno cage. There is no camera staring out of the Xeno cage because that would be
Hmm.
retarded. It's it's just the shot that they had from that scene before where and that's in the security cam.
Yeah.
And I think they keep doing it because I mean, let's be honest. I don't mean that like she has a very nice mouth. Um it's just a fact. But they just keep on doing it over and over and over again. It's like, okay, I get it. Fine. You can do the clicky click. Good for you. But yeah, it just bothers me when I think they do that a couple of times where they take security cam shots, um, and but it's clearly from the actual cinematography,
Hmm.
not from a security cam,
Yes. Yeah.
which just feels lazy.
Yes.
But Wendy
Yes.
discovers she advances her powers. She levels up. She leveled up to level 8, and then she took the remote hacking perk at some point. I've talked a lot. I didn't want to talk over you.
Oh, it's okay. I will like yeah, this whole thing. Let's see. Oh yes, because yeah, that's when the screens start going down. Because
Yep.
um, I mean, we can get there's more examples that later. I will say I did like the idea of the haunting stuff, but we'll go into more of that later. Um, but yeah, starts
I
going to end.
yeah, well, I have thoughts on that too because I liked it in principle, but not in
Mhm.
execution.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get more examples later on.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because it goes down, and then you've got Boy Clapford there talking with Kirsch, and he wants to fight Weyland-Yutani, and
Yep.
Kirsch says what we've all been thinking, and he's like talking about his you have severe ADHD, and you got terrible impulse control, and he should not be making this kind of decision, which then makes me think like yeah, I don't know. There's just if his impulse control is this bad, how the frack is he running a company?
It's a great question. I mean, people can run companies when they have poor impulse control if they make up for it with other skills.
Mm-hmm.
So if he actually was as smart as he says he is, not just telling us that he's smart, then you would go, oh, okay. Because so you have someone who's intelligent like him, what he's supposed to be. Other people who are better managerially come around him and they make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But he's freaking stupid. While he's talking with Kirsch, we see that the little baby Xeno that came out of low sperm count is now in a cage. Kirsch is looking at it, talking, blah, blah, blah. And then this is when Wendy activates her remote hacking perk
Mm-hmm.
and starts messing with the comms. And Boy Cavalier throws a little fit because he can't hear Kirsch, throws something at the wall, says everyone here's stupid or something like that. And
Yeah, the whole remote hacking thing, like they established that she had hacking powers, but she had to be in physical contact with the camera, and then now it's remote. I think it's just at this point, like I could harp on like how they're just it's what the plot needs it
yeah,
needs, and then they just do it. I'm kind of at this point where I'm just kind of like, sure, sure,
yeah.
yeah, sure, whatever.
Mary Sue's Mary Sue's make for riveting television.
Yeah.
Said no one ever. Joe and Morrow are locked up in a separate cage nearby, and they talk. They might have said something interesting. I did not take any notes. I think I was just kind of skipping through. Nothing caught my eye. Nothing for
Yeah.
you.
No, the next thing I have is just the um Dr. Dom Sylvia, she's back in her room, and then Wendy starts playing clips of their interview before being
Yep.
transferred to the hybrid body, which I actually I liked it would have been better, I think, in a better film, a better show, but I liked what they were trying to do with it, and that
It would have
would.
made more sense if this scene were in place of Dom Sylvia at the gravesite.
Mhm. Yeah.
They wanted to have the Xeno there to give us a sense that there's danger, which
Hmm.
we all knew that there wasn't because she has plot armor.
Yeah.
But this scene structurally would have worked way better at the beginning,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. What do I know?
Yeah. I think just the I think it was a good idea. Um, especially the whole thing of like, well, it's the assurance of to the children that like, oh, everything's going to be okay and whatnot, and you have this person who evidently does care about these kids is now being reminded of basically the lies that she told them. And
Yeah.
again, there's so many moments, there's so many ideas in this show that are actually good and sometimes really good, but poorly executed or just not followed up on.
What I would have liked to have seen from Dom Sylvia's character by this point, because again, I think I've said before in previous episodes, I think the actress did a very fine job portraying her.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I look at her and go, okay, I get I think I get the feeling you're supposed to get from her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was convincingly done.
Yeah.
But um, they're also trying to bring in a sense of guilt that she feels,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't do it very well.
No.
Either that, or I'm just a psycho and I don't feel that. But I just like I look at it, I'm not convinced by it at all,
Mm-hmm.
which is too bad because for her character, to me, that would be essential.
Yes. I'm just looking at
Yeah,
my notes. Just it's funny sometimes to see some of the things I write. Like there's Wendy's haunting more people, and then I have this notation. This better be good. It seems like a little late doing this in the last episode. It's a good should have been the previous done before. It's a good idea for the show, but it should have been done earlier,
a lot earlier.
or at least established she can do something like this. I don't know. It's just so out of the blue.
Yeah, I mean it's not so disorganized that it feels like they just kind of put scenes together. Like we
Mm.
definitely want this in the episode, and then just throw darts and then to see which one they. It doesn't feel quite that
No,
bad.
no.
Um, it's just the next scene is kind of funny. I would have liked it more if they had done a proper job developing Wendy's um, powers, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't use they've actually, if I'm remembering correctly, they've never shown us her discovering how to do things. She just does things.
Yeah.
And so it's like the beginning of this, I think it's the beginning of this episode, we just see her starting to do the remote hacking. You're like, when did you figure this out? In world. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that the writers just decided, oh, this is what we need. But when did you decide that? So this next scene, it goes to the security team and they're in an elevator lobby and they're talking about, oh, we need to go to the armory. One of the elevator doors opens with a ding and they're like, did you call it? Um, and you're wondering, oh, is it the alien? Is it this or that? No, they hop into the elevator and it starts to go down, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the red lights come on, and it says self-destruct is going to
Oh
happen in
yeah.
30 seconds, and they're freaking out. And it's just Wendy messing with them, which I think I would have liked the scene more if they had led us along a little bit with how she got those powers.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
just I think because the show needs it, I'm just going to give that scene a plus because I'm nice sometimes.
Yeah.
So Joe and Morrow, they're in their cage. They're talking blah 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 blah. And then Wendy unlocks them out of their cage too. Yeah, Morrow beats the crap out of the guard, and he says, "I'm going to burn this to the ground."
Which I really wish meant something.
I know. I wish it did. I did notice one interesting detail, which I appreciated. I just wish that they, you know, paid attention to more details. So his eye is all puffy and whatever because he had the crap beat out of him.
Mm.
And as he's talking, I noticed he's got a missing tooth, which was not missing beforehand. So when he
Mm.
was getting all busted up, someone knocked a tooth out, and I'm like, that's a cool little detail. I'll give a little plusy plus for that. But yeah, then that's that.
Mm.
Oh, and then we've been waiting for Kirsch is in the lab.
Mm.
Morrow sneaks into the lab, and they fight.
It wasn't a bad fight.
It was not a yeah. I wrote quote. It was fine. It was not bad. It was good to it was one of the few things that felt like there was a good payoff.
Hmm.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Um they get interrupted. Somehow the little baby alien escapes. I have no idea how or why. It interrupts the fight just when Morrow kind of has the upper hand, and then Kirsch puts him in a sleepy choke, and uh, Kirsch falls asleep. Or excuse me, Morrow falls asleep, and Kirsch's back is broken, so he can't really move. They're
Hmm.
both just sort of laying there. Yeah, it was one of the few parts of the series where I was like, yeah, that worked for me. Then it goes back to Boy Cavalier. Unless you have something else to say about that.
No, no, no.
Boy Cavalier,
Other than I kind of wish there had been a bit more interaction between them to build up to this fight. It
fortunately, the
yeah.
the actors, what few engagements they had previous, the actors brought their A game.
Oh,
The two
did
actors did.
did they
So
ever?
it 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 worked for me. But yeah, you're right. It would have been nice to have more.
Hmm.
The next scene we get Wendy being a Mary Sue again. Boy Cavalier shows up at the Lost Boy cage and he's
Hmm.
gloating. He's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, look at you guys in your cage." And then Wendy's just sitting there cross-legged and she snaps her fingers and the door opens. And I know for a fact the writers when they wrote that down, they were just jizzing all over themselves so happy
Hmm.
like, oh, this is gonna be like the best. I probably shouldn't have said jizzing, sorry, but just so happy. Like, oh, this is a payoff moment. It was just, it's like, okay, great. You have a character who can do anything. She's just a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Cool.
So one thing, and it kind of carries on later on a little bit, is when in just before she unlocks the door, he's telling her about his dad and how bad his dad was, and his dad was a drunk and beat him, and that
Yep.
and the whole thing of like, oh, I was so smart, my dad didn't understand me, and so he beat me because I was so smart, and so I built my first synth at age 6 and replaced my dad.
Which, again, wouldn't have been a bad twist if we'd cared.
Yeah.
That actually would have been a good twist. One thing I'm trying to figure out is what the show's obsession with making Nibs do animal sounds before she kills somebody.
Yeah.
Because the guard walks into the room, and once again, she just has this really low effort, like as she gets up to
Mhm.
go mess that dude's face up. I don't because like I think it was the end of the previous season. She turns around to a guard that's pointing a gun at her. She goes,
I don't know. Maybe it's just like this is how we show what losing your mind is or something. You make animal sounds. Okay, whatever. Just watch next season. They're gonna explore um furries and how people who think that, oh, well, in every way except physically I am a wolf. That's what they're gonna go into with her. Just watch.
no, she's probably going to identify as a xenomorph.
It hurts me.
Actually, you know what? I said that because it was the stupidest thing I could think of, but that actually sounds like something they would do.
It does. It does. Okay, we will save that for
No.
we'll save further discussion on anything, any project.
I'm just gonna write that down. I'm gonna name and
Yes,
date that.
yes, write that down. Yeah, we will save more of those for our next episode when we will discuss what could be.
I'm just gonna write that down. Sorry. Will identify as Xeno. Oh, we do get a payoff moment here. Did the sarcasm come through? So they the the guard dies. Boy
Mhm.
Cavalier runs. There's this really cringy thing where he's like, "Ah," after seeing Nibs kill the guard, and then Wendy just does this run,
Oh yes.
and he runs, and then Smee's about to run after him, and she goes, "No, hide and seek. Remember? Why is it something any of us would remember? Remember what? Oh, because it's in the book. Peter Pan.
The funny thing is, I read the book actually. I think it was just before we started doing this, and I'm like, I don't remember I don't remember hide and seek being a big thing, like other than a little thing at the beginning, maybe, but it wasn't like hide and
It
seek
was in
being a
the
huge thing.
cartoon.
Right. Of
It was
course,
in the
because we
cartoon.
because we got to remember that this is a Disney property, and they've got to remind you of all their other properties they own.
But here's the payoff moment. So the previous engagement or the previous conversation, excuse me, that Wendy and Curly had is they were arguing about who was liked the best by
Hmm.
Boy Cavalier. And after all of this, there's literally been nothing else since then. They're walking out, and then Wendy's giving orders. You go find the Xeno. You go find Kirsch. You go find the security team. And then she looks at Curly and says, "And Curly." And then Curly goes, "I'm not Curly. I'm Jane." Cool. Like,
Would have meant something if then I think it actually would have meant something a bit more if Wendy almost then like, oh, and then said her like and then said like I keep on forgetting her name, her real name.
Curly?
No, no, no,
Oh,
Wendy's real
oh,
name.
oh.
Yeah,
Marsha?
Marcy.
Marcy.
Like I think it would have been it would I don't know, I think it would have worked better than if she's like, oh, I'm Marcy, and just it would just have I think it would have I don't know, it seemed would have felt like it would have meant a
Well,
bit more, but it was just so like, okay.
Jane was not Curly's real name. Jane is a character
Right.
name from
I
Peter
forgot.
Pan.
You're right. I forgot. Right. That's Wendy's daughter. I forgot. Right. Of
Yeah,
course. Right. 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 She's Boy Cavalier's next favorite. Oh, it was just so stupid.
yeah.
Like Boy Cavalier is running away, so why would she be Jane anyway? This makes no sense. This is stupid. This is so
Yeah, that's
stupid.
what I was saying. It's like another payoff moment. No. Speaking of missed opportunities, if there's one thing I can say about the show that I have enjoyed, even though it's kind of senseless, the gore is pretty good. The next scene is the security team going down the hallway. They see a corpse on the ground. And then, you got the camera looking
Mhm.
up as the security team's coming down. Zeno grabs the corpse and pulls it down the hallway. Security team turns the corner. There's the Xeno in full view. The Xeno goes, and then you just hear gunshots and screaming, and nothing cool happens.
Also, it was posing. It did. It's. Oh, no, I know. Unless I'm thinking of a different scene. There was a part. It may have been like I thought it was like after it pulled, they look and it's doing its rise up pose with one arm slightly back. Or
Oh,
is
it
that
might have
different?
been, yeah.
Or may
It
have been.
definitely hissed at them, but
There's just a lot of
no,
those
I think you're
moments where
right.
it's either that part or a different scene that may have been even at the beginning when they were running around hunting it and whatnot. But this Xeno poses a lot. And
Yeah.
by a lot, any kind of posing from a Xeno is a lot. The first one is a lot. If it only poses once, it's still a lot.
Oh, good. We're back to Smee and Slightly. Uh, they kind of rescue Kirsch, sorta, kinda. Um, Morrow wakes up, slightly punches him in the face, knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pointless exposition, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe, well, we go to Joe. He
Following
goes
Baldy,
in. Yes,
because
I think yes.
before the scene with slightly evil Alfred finds Joe in Wendy's room, says that
Mm,
Boy Cavalier has an offer for him,
mhm.
implying that there's an offer for how to get Wendy off the island and release her. Implying, is it imply or infer? I keep on forgetting.
To imply, to infer. I don't know. My brain's stupid right now.
It's all good.
I
It
know what
doesn't.
you
I mean,
mean either way.
yeah,
I think infer.
yeah,
Infer.
yes,
Yeah.
infers that Wendy could be released, and then we have the thing with Smee, and then we're back to Evil Alfred and Joe going into Boy Cavalier's office. Ooh, I wonder why.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Closes
no,
the
no. Joe
door.
goes in by himself.
Right, right.
The door closes behind him, and he
Mm-hmm.
looks and he sees the containment unit that the sheep with the eyeball was in, but it's empty and the door is open. Oh no. And then he turns around and the sheep is staring at him. Then the eyeball comes out, and at this point I'm thinking, I'm rooting for the eyeball. But I did not get what I wanted. Joe survives.
I did find it with the whole thing of like how he's trying to get away from the eyeball, and he quickly jumps into the cage to close it off, and then the eye's like, okay, I can't get in through the main door, so it goes over to the feed slot, and
Yep.
I'm like, really? The feed slot is so unsecure that something could get in. If it can get in through the feed slot, means it could have also gotten out through the feed slot. Like,
Yeah, it looked like the way it was constructed, it could have actually pushed it open.
yeah, like I was like that is a really bad security design. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I don't care if it's a nitpick. It's stupid when it's that
It is
obvious.
no, no, it is stupid because you have a TV show that's supposed to be about creatures that are being contained, and the containment units that are used for them are so stupid. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a nitpick. It's just stupid. It's it's actually one of those shows that I should be careful. I feel like this is the kind of show where if someone unironically thinks this show is brilliant, it tells you a lot about their IQ. Maybe that wasn't the nicest thing to say. Moving on.
I mean, it's sure. I'm sure. Like when we eventually get our butts in gear and actually try to get some of our own work published once it's finished, I'm sure someone's gonna be like, "This guy's an idiot."
Oh, 100%. I know, I mean, I know for a fact because like I've got 56 videos out on YouTube now, 57. I got 57 out now. I know for a fact that out of those like multiple tens of thousands of views, there's got to be at least half of them who think I'm a complete idiot. So I get it. That's the nature of the beast. You put stuff out, it's going to get criticized,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just stupid.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh yes.
Um,
So I get stopped. Oh yes. And then Wendy, right? Wendy also comes in to stop the eye.
Deus Ex Mary Sue.
Yep. Fights evil Alfred. He's a
Yep,
synth.
Adam arrives. Yep.
He's a synth. Surprise, surprise. Oh right. She
Yeah, he
stops it.
throws her against the wall and gives a bad guy speech.
Right, and then she stops him with her hacking powers.
Yeah. Well, I think I said stopped her using the Force question mark because now Star Wars is owned by Disney as well. So
Mm-hmm.
this is about the first time I was truly disappointed in Adam's character because the way that he she doesn't kill him, but she effectively removes the threat of him,
Mm-hmm.
puts him into a catatonic state. All he can do is move his eyes. I was disappointed, and I shouldn't have been disappointed, but I just felt like at least with his character, he deserved more than that. But
Mm.
no, no, not at all. Yeah, basically, she can do anything the script needs her to do. That's it. Um, oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know it. I was like,
This next scene
are you talking about the art, their discussion after?
with her brother, this is one of the most infuriating, obnoxious, retarded things I have ever seen. I'll let you go because I talk a lot. So
That's all right. All I had, yeah, I had. So after that, I have then written, Wendy and Joe have stupid argument with flawed logic. When Wendy likes, of course, I'm giving a rough, boil it down to as simple as I can. Wendy likes the aliens because they're honest. And then,
did she
yeah,
say she said honest, didn't she?
yep. Oh yes, and then talking to Joe about you're supposed to help, getting after him because of the whole thing with Nibs. Like you're supposed to help people, and Joe said about Nibs, she was hurting my friends. Wendy, so Nibs isn't a person. What does that have to do with that? Like yes, he's supposed to help
Gaslighting
people,
the crap out of him.
right? And it's like that's not even what the conversation is about. Like oh
Saying
it
you're supposed to help people. He was helping people because Nibs was being a psychopath. She was murdering people and threatening to murder more. And then he saves them, and he's the bad guy. And
he also
I
took her out
watched
non he also took her out non-lethally, which can't be said for Nibs.
apparently.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Wendy. I feel like in the original script for that episode, he actually did kill Nibs, but because there's so many writers on the team, for whatever reason, Nibs is still alive.
That's
Because the
possible.
way that they film Nibs get shot, the way that she was dead. And if in fact she's not dead, they need to show us why.
Yeah.
And they did not. It's like all the freaking Star Wars things that they put out now. Multiple people get stabbed in the stomach by lightsabers, and they survive and show up later on. It's like, sorry, Qui-Gon Jinn, you were in Star Wars before we decided that stomach wounds don't kill you. Do you ever do you know who Andrew Wilson is?
No, no, I don't.
Okay. He's a fairly obnoxious guy, but he's really entertaining. He does a lot of debates with I gotta be careful how I say this. Women of the liberal persuasion, shall
Okay.
we say.
Okay.
And they'll have conversations, some of them about self-defense. And the way basically this is a self-defense and protection scenario, but that Joe was involved in
Hmm.
Alien.
Hmm.
The way that she's arguing and gaslighting him reminds me of how these women of liberal persuasion argue about things like self-defense, or it's so stupid it hurts.
Hmm.
This scene, this is the kind of scene for me where if the entire season was good and this scene was in it, this tanks the show for me.
Yeah.
It's retarded on so many levels. And if you don't believe me, you need to watch this scene, episode 8. It's like it's in the second half of the episode.
It's I when
Why is Wendy suddenly so insufferable?
this whole thing with the argument, like it reminds me of a phrase that you used to say sometimes when we'd work together and have these big discussions and sometimes disagree and whatnot. Of if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with
Baffled with bullshit.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, bullcrap.
And this is exactly like after like even after I read it, like when she says, "Oh, whoa, oh, so Nibs isn't a person," my brain was already like short circuiting of like this is so dumb. I have no comeback. I need right now. I need to think a bit because my brain is like this is so dumb, and to come up like I know why it's dumb now to translate that into stupid to try to you know explain to a person why it's so dumb is like oh this is yeah
It is
it hurts the
one
head.
of the worst written things I have ever seen. It's a leftist wet dream,
Hmm.
basically. It's
Hmm.
what they imagine that they want to say to every single person they consider to be right of whatever their position is. I'm not trying to bring politics into it. I can just like the people who write the show, especially Nathan Hawley, something Hawley, who is very, very political in that regard.
Hmm.
It just comes across as the smarmy, self-important, smug speech.
Well,
My
yeah.
notes were so effing obnoxious. So
Hmm.
it is
Yeah.
stupid, stupid, stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I have some other stuff with that, but I'm like, you know what? There's something I've been sitting on. Like, nope, it needs to wait till like we've got like the near the end of the episode. There, it gives me some.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was about to like, nope, nope. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Well, the
uh,
next scene, we're back to Boy Cavalier, everybody's favorite not genius. And he encounters the alien. The alien's growling at him, staring at him. Wendy shows up.
oh, there's something
Uh,
before this I wanted
oh,
to
oh,
bring up.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
At least I believe this is before, because yeah, this is where Wendy, Joe, and the Xeno catch Boy Cavalier.
Yes.
Okay, so just before this, and I just draw attention to it because it was just the way it was done. So we jumps to Joe's security friends, and they enter the lab, and
Oh,
they're
that's after this.
oh, it is okay. Never mind. Okay, continue. Please continue.
I have lots to say about that scene too. You're talking
Yes,
with the vagina ceiling monster, right?
yes.
Yeah. No, Boy Cavalier encounters the alien in some sort of like I think it's an elevator lobby or something. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Wendy arrives. More of the security team also arrive. When Wendy does her little and six the Xeno onto the security team,
Yeah.
they get slaughtered, and then they basically capture Boy Cavalier. They knock him out. Yeah, they knock him out, and then that's the end of that scene. I hate that the Xeno's a dog. I know everyone's going to be tired of me fricking repeating this over and over again. I hate that they turned the Xeno into a dog. I love
Hmm.
dogs, but the Xeno is not a dog.
No.
Why does Disney have to do this with everything?
Hmm.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the alien just started, "Hello, my darling. Hello, my honey," from Spaceballs. That would not shock me.
You know what? If it did that, I would. It would get a. It would get from me. It would get a fine, and then a smirk, and then a smirk. I would smirk because it would then remind me of a better movie.
Yeah. One thing that is kind of humorous, I found out that so there's a bunch of comic books that are set in the Alien universe.
Yeah.
And in I didn't read it, I've just heard about it. There is a character, it's an android character, but it looks like a Xeno.
Interesting.
And they use it in order to they send it into hives, like alien hives, in
Hmm.
order to basically do reconnaissance.
Hmm.
Um, but the android Xeno speaks English. So when he's back at base, it's just this Xeno looking android thing smoking cigars and laughing with the boys. And
That's a
it's the kind
fantastic
of
visual.
thing, yeah. Um, that has nothing, very little to do. It just hit my brain, and I thought, "Oh, I should check that out sometime." But yes, the next scene is the security lab or the security guards in the lab
Mhm.
and the vagina ceiling monster.
Yeah. Just give a they're looking around. They're like, oh, what's going on? What's all this stuff? This is not good. And
Oh my
then,
God.
yeah. And then, you see this vagina ceiling monster in the background kind of scamper up the wall. And then, of course, she feels some drippings and looks out and it grabs her.
The
And
redheaded security guard?
yes,
Yeah.
grabs her, rather gruesomely kills her. And then Curly knocks out the other guard. And that's the end of the scene.
Oh, hang on a second though. You missed some details.
Oh,
Or you missed some things. So she's looking around, right?
yeah.
She hasn't seen the vagina ceiling monster. It's above her. She gets
Mhm.
the drippy drip and she looks up. And she stares up at that thing with her rifle pointed at the ground for so long.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
And it wasn't slow motion. If it was slow motion, I would go, okay. But it was not slow motion. She's just staring up at it like with one of the worst I'm scared or shocked expressions I've ever seen. And then it flares open its flaps. And then she looks over at the other security guard and goes, and then it grabs her.
Yeah.
And as it grabs her, it pulls her up to the ceiling. Her finger goes down on the trigger, and she shoots down all of the security guards except for the one guy whose name I don't remember.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes. Yes. Let's face it, the whole thing with the alien movies, when there's monsters, we want to see a monster get somebody so we can see what the monster does. Let's face it.
Absolutely.
So, yes, I absolutely wanted the flytrap monster or whatever to get somebody. The way this scene is, I don't know if you got the same vibe. The way this scene is set up, the way the attention is drawn to these characters, and when she's grabbed and she's hanging there and she's kicking and kicking and kicking and stuff is happening, and just, I don't know, there was such an emphasis on her and her kicking, and then finally when you hear like it kind of kill her, more or less, it's rather it's rather gruesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this comes across as the scene where some jerk gets their comeuppance, and that's what the vibe I got from this scene. And
Interesting.
that's and I'm like, they were just a bunch of side characters that maybe you were supposed to care about, maybe not, but I don't know. I'm not sure if they deserved to have at least that much emphasis on them. I could be reading into this, but it felt like this is a bad guy's comeuppance scene, but these people are just grunts. I don't know.
Or at least a character that has more actual prominence
Yes,
in the
yes,
story as a
yes.
character. There was, I won't, no spoilers on it. There was, uh, Ashton and I just finished watching season 2 of Andor, and it was actually freaking phenomenal. I was gobsmacked. It was so good. But that show has some characters that clearly the writers liked, but like for me and Ashley anyway, we just cared nothing but the character. And one of these characters dies, and a really big deal is made about it.
Hmm.
And for us, it just felt like wasted screen time because we did not care. The story didn't do anything to make me care. The actor did not do anything to make me care. There was nothing for me there. It was just counting time until we move on to the next thing.
Hmm.
This character doesn't even have the benefit of, you can't even get to the point, are they likable or not? We
In
don't
this
even know enough about them.
in Alien or Andor.
Sorry, specifically in Alien,
Okay.
going back to the girl with the dreadlocks.
Hmm.
I don't know enough about her to like her or dislike her.
Yeah.
But the way
Hmm.
that they filmed it, as you said, I wouldn't say it felt like a villain's comeuppance, but it definitely felt like it was a pretty mean-spirited kill, if you
Hmm.
like, if you will. It reminded me a little bit of like just the mean-spiritedness of it. Remember in Jurassic World, the babysitter who's supposed to
Yeah.
keep after the
Yeah.
kids?
Hmm.
No, it was probably one of the best Jurassic Park kills ever, but it felt so mean-spirited, and she didn't do anything to deserve it. She was just this nice British girl who was on her phone all the time. Um, this felt,
Allegedly, the actress actually asked to go out in the most brutal way they could.
I think you're right, actually. That makes sense. It's like it still felt mean-spirited, which to
Hmm.
me worked fine because life is harsh and then you die, right?
Yeah.
But in here, it definitely felt like this character was supposed to be more,
Hmm.
and she wasn't.
Yeah.
Um, it's just that there were no meaningful deaths in this
No.
entire series.
No.
At no point did I go, actually, no, there was one point. when I thought that Kirsch died when he got his back broken. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh no. Um, and so when it turned out that he survived that at least barely, I was like, yay! So there was one. That's a plus. Okay. Yeah. This was just a very lazy scene.
Mhm.
It was just lazily done.
Yeah.
Um, the eyeball finds a new host.
Yes, Arthur's body.
Yep, goes to the beach. So this is the next scene. Finds Arthur on the beach, schlorps into his eye socket, and that's it.
Gets up and walks away.
Yep.
Apparently, you
I'm
can
assuming for the next
see.
season.
Yeah, yeah. I have some predictions for that, but we can talk about that next episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we get a shot of Yutani ships inbound for Neverland Island.
Hmm.
Then we get to insufferable speech number 2
Yeah.
in the cage. So I guess setting the scene, the Lost Boys have brought all of the adults into the cage that the Lost Boys were initially in. That includes Kirsch, Adam, Dom Sylvia, Boy Cavalier, and that's it.
Mr. Morrow. I don't know
Yeah,
if you mentioned him.
you're right, and Morrow as well.
Yeah.
And it's just this insufferable speech using Peter Pan terminology and Boy Cavalier. You know, you're not Peter Pan. You're something, something, something or other.
Right. I have it here. The boy Cavalier that he's not Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up. He grew up into a hateful little man who hates everyone, just like his dad.
Just rolling my eyes.
Yes, and then her, of course, her. Yeah, it seemed like her. It seemed like him and Dom Sylvia were getting the holier than thou speech. They, you know, to Dom Sylvia, she thought she was helping these children, but all she did was put kids in the ground.
Yeah,
My
I mean, you
my
would have been put in the ground anyway.
that's exactly my note right here. That
It
like
is no disrespect, but you had a fast approaching expiry date there.
it's so obnoxious and self righteous, and it's like not based on anything. It's just yeah, and it's like this. Yeah, there's holier than thou. So my thoughts are so fragmented on it because it's just so it's so dumb.
It's
It's
self-important. It reeks with so much self-importance.
mhm.
It's gross.
It sounds like they were trying to do the, you thought you were the good guy, but you're actually the very, very, very evil, bad guy kind of thing. Boy Cavalier, totally justified. Dom Sylvia, yes, she had her issues, and was willing to bend some rules, but I don't know, it just
They needed to set her up better. Dom
mhm,
Sylvia, they set her up better as by turning the sympathy because she's a sympathetic character.
mhm.
They didn't turn that
No,
like that. They just started treating her differently, but they didn't give us a reason to follow them on that.
yeah, because wasn't it the last episode they even had us? Yeah, like it was the last episode. They even had a scene where she was comforting Curly, like being like the mother role,
Yep.
and like
Which we're talking about how that was actually a sweet scene.
it was a very sweet scene. And that's I think that's the problem with the in this scene is they make her sound darker than she actually was. Like there was always the bad guy
Yeah.
thinks the bad guy thinks they're the hero of their story, um, and they kind of hint that's that's what Dom Sylvia thought, but you but just her actions, there was far more sympathy and far more what's the word I'm looking for. She seemed to have there was some kind of a moral compass still to her, and that they almost like any ill will I think us as an audience felt for her, especially in the first few episodes where it seems like she's manipulating the kids to get, because they're all experiments and everything. And in the first few episodes, it seems like she views them as experiments. Any ill will we as an audience felt towards her in those from those scenes, I think have been completely turned around based on the concern she demonstrates
Yeah.
for these children, the concern and care.
Yes, because at this point, the story clearly wants her to be one of the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
But, and again, not being a smartass, they, just like everything else in the show, they tell, they don't show.
Mm-hmm.
This is just it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst season finales I've seen, and I've watched every season of Prison Break. So
Mm-hmm.
those were bad.
Yeah.
This was worse. We start getting the music playing, so we know the episode's almost over
Mm-hmm.
because the music.
Yes.
And then you have the cinematic, like close up as the camera's coming up to the Lost Boys as they're staring smugly at the adults in the cage. And then Nibs says, "What do we do now?" And then the music plays, and it zooms in on Wendy, and then quick shot as the both Xenos come crawling along the outside of the cage like the good dogs that they are, and they or whatever. The music rises, and she says, "Now we rule." And then the music flares out, and you're like, "Rule what? What does that even mean? What does that line even mean?"
I mean, we'll talk about next episode, but I was like, this, like, I have an idea, like, oh, you could rip off this other piece of literature, which would totally line up and with this theme and everything, but they're not going to, but it would still, work better narratively. But talk about that next episode. Yeah, just the oh,
I don't get it, man. All that money. Ridley Scott signed off on this. He even praised it publicly. I know they kind of have to, but he could have at least made it look like it was a hostage video. At least a little bit of effort, you know?
I also don't get how like what you're saying, like he signed off on it. There's even what was it? I heard an interview or something, little clip with the showrunner, the creator, saying that he wanted to get back to the horror elements of Alien or whatnot. Now, again, that's a bit of hearsay, so I don't know if that's what he said. I just heard it off of somebody else mentioning it, in a video. But if that was his goal, he failed because the Xenos are not scary in this. Like the first two episodes, sure, because we're not sure what to expect. But each episode on, the Xenos get less and less scary.
At no point did I feel any freaking tension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
None whatsoever. And again, just having watched the first Alien movie so many times, I still feel that tension and that claustrophobia. I know exactly what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what's going to happen when Kane comes out of that pod or wakes up after the face hugger, right? And he's having
Mm-hmm.
his last meal. I
Yeah.
know exactly what's going to happen, and I dread it for him every time. I've seen that movie 60 freaking times. There was no tension whatsoever. The most amount of tension I felt in this show was when Kirsch got his back broken, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
if they have season two, they need to have Kirsch. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say without getting into
Yeah.
the
Deep
what
dive.
could have beens, the yeah. Well, I mean, this has been fun with
Yes.
you. Watching it has not been fun.
No.
I hope to never watch this show again,
Mhm.
ever.
I have no desire to either.
Zero. I thought it
The,
would be easier to watch it again because when you watch something the first time, it always feels longer. The
Mhm.
second time you watch it, it just it was hard. It was hard. First world problems, but hard.
Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll throw you a bit of a bone next time of hopefully some fun stuff where we get to project on what's next. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Have a good one.
Thank you guys. See you later.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetence.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.